G'day, it's Robbie again. Well, the other day the brother-in-law dropped in this big old repulsion start McColl electric motor. It's an Australian-made motor from the 1940s, 1 horsepower, weighs a tonne, and it was powering a shearing plant. But anyway, it stopped working. It doesn't spin over, it just hums. So I'm going to have a look at the poor old thing today, delve into its guts and see if we can find out what the problem is. So you can come for the ride. This is either frozen or the brushes have worn right back. It looks to me like they may not be in contact. So what I'm going to have to do is take the end of this off, take the back of the motor off and diagnose the problem. With a bit of luck we'll get the old girl going. But it's a hell of a motor, isn't it, eh? Oh, man, this thing is massive. 1 horsepower. Now this motor being so old, all the bolts will be frozen. There's no way you can get any penetrating oil into them. So there's not a hope in hell these are going to undo with a normal screwdriver. They don't bolt right through, so we have to use the impact driver on this. So once again we use the handheld impact driver. And these are plenty good enough for these sort of work, and they're good because you can control how much load you're putting on them. So we'll have a go with it, see if we can crack these bolts free. These are one of the handiest things you can have in the workshop. There you go, magic, eh? So these things are worth their weight in gold if you're working on frozen stuff. You've got less chance of damaging the heads too because it dries in. That one too. Down the bottom. That one too. Now, there you go. Makes life easy peasy. Right, we're probably finished with that for now. So yeah, get yourself one of these kits. I've had this one since I was in my 20s. I think I paid about $10 for it, and now they're about 30, but they are definitely the way to go when you work on this old stuff. I mean, this motor's never been apart, I should imagine, in its entire life, and it would have been made in the 1930s probably, 30s or 40s. McColl made top quality industrial motors, electric motors. Check the bolts are all the same length. They are identical, so that's okay. Now to get it apart, tap it. It's cast, you can't afford to go too hard with a slide hammer on it either. Gotcha. Got you, baby. Right. You can see on here the mechanism for reversing the motor direction. So it's your classic induction start motor. By flicking this over to this position, you can reverse the motor start direction. These are tremendous old motors. So if I can get this going, the brother will be more than happy. Now you can see it's got its fair share of wildlife in here. Well, I'd already cleaned a bit of this out, but they've got cobwebs and little critters have been living in here, mice and God knows what else. All the windings look okay. So, it's just a matter of see what the problem is. It's probably the brushes. These old motors are now collectible, really, but we don't want to pull any more of this apart than we have to. Okay, here's a close look at what we're dealing with now. This just uses the same flat type brushes as my old Century one. Could be that that's just binding, you see. Could be that actually there's enough brush there to do the job and it's just standing, it's just, see, it's not throwing out or throwing in properly. So if we can get this apart and clean it all up, or maybe clean it up in situ, she might be a goer. And you want to be careful with this wiring, it's all pretty old. Okay, I'll see what I can do. Okay, now a close look shows this is held together with a snap ring. I've got to get that out, so we'll need a couple of small screwdrivers, I think, to get in there. Time to take the gloves off and do some delicate work. Right, she's apart. That was tricky, but we got there. Okay. Now we're cooking. Okay, now looking at the brush carrier, you can see the problem straight away. That this is how the brushes should look. The blades, without brushes, carbon brushes, but this is working. This one's totally frozen. That one's barely moving too. So hopefully, if we clean it up, there'll be enough brush left to do the job. You can see they're a wedge type brush. They all seem to use that particular design, well, the ones I've worked on. So yeah, with a bit of luck we can get this old girl going again, and the brother-in-law will be a happy chappy. You can see the radial commutator looks pretty good. Might pay to just clean that up a bit with a bit of petrol or metho. I wouldn't use any wet and dry or anything on there because you don't want to put any sort of roughness into it. You want to leave it at the shiny state, and that should still work okay. There's no crud between the sectors, the segments. So yeah, looking good. This could be a pretty quick fix, I think. Obviously this old stuff, you don't want to disturb anything more than you have to, you know. Whenever you pull stuff apart, just take it down to the bare minimum that you need to take apart. Don't just strip stuff for the hell of it, otherwise you can break stuff or stuff can be frozen. Same with carburetors on engines and that, you know, if you can get it by without pulling the whole thing to pieces, it'll be a lot better. Okay. Right. It's all looking good now. That one's free. That one's good. That one's good. Everything's honky-dory. So we now should be able to blow it off with air. Lubricate it on the pivot points. I think it'd be worth putting some lube on them. Whether they were lubed or ran dry, hard to say, but I think a bit of lube wouldn't hurt really. We'll give it a blow off anyway and see what we've got. Right, well everything now is perfecto. You can see they all look good. There's plenty of blade left. That one's down a bit, but it's enough there to do the job, I think. Okay, so now it's a matter of just put it back together. looks good. That'll do it. Yeah, we're nearly there. Yeah, they're tricky to get those clips back in at times. You should go. Now when you put these back together, you have to mate up this cutout here with this tab here, which is your speed control, your direction control rather. So we just have to make sure we get that right. So, there she is, that's where it should be. Right there. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, we're good. Now with these, it's a good idea to tap the end on. Don't try and pull it up with the screws because it could go on crooked. We'll get it on the same way as we took it off. Alright, that's good. You'll be pleased to see this going. It's a big gutsy old motor. Top stuff. Don't worry about the bit of dirt. It's a farm and it's not meant to be an ornament. Yeah, it's great to save these old motors, get them going. I mean, induction motors like this are pretty rare these days. Not bad the way they did it with the old cast iron in those days. Everything was heavy duty, built to last. Built to last. Okay, the moment of truth. You can see the wiring's seen better days, but the brother-in-law can fix that up. And what we'll do is we'll just put a temporary connection onto these wires. I in fact have got a real rig that I keep made up all the time for these sort of jobs that you can just hook it on temporarily with a couple of clips and go from there. So will Big Mama come to life again? Yep, she will. You watch this. Hold on to your hat, boys. Hey, hey, hey! Really good, oh, really good. Listen to that bloody thing wind down. That's the sound of an induction start motor. Yeah, she's good. That's how it should sound. Took a little while for the thing to... Right. If we get any fireworks, I doubt we will. We'll have a look anyway. See if anything happens. Beautiful. There you go, guys. ready for the shearing plant again. It'll probably go for another 80 years before it's looked at again, so a bit of salvation, save the planet and keep some of our old heritage going for the next generation. Okay, that's it from me. Hope you found it interesting. We'll see you next time. Cheers.